strong.
Welcome back to Crypto for Freedom, where we talk about gaining financial freedom through the cryptocurrency markets. If you guys like the video, make sure to smash the like, and if you're new around here, subscribe to the channel. Now let's jump into Dogecoin. So Dogecoin has been in this falling wedge since 2021 and was finally able to break out in October of 2024 to come up and find a local high, come back and back test the falling wedge, come back up and have a second back test now with a pretty convincing rally after it broke back down to back test on the scam wick last week. Dogecoin is sitting right below the 50-week moving average currently, the orange line on the screen, right over here. And if we take a look back in the 2021 cycle, when Bitcoin dominance dropped, found a peak here and dropped, that's when Dogecoin was able to break out of the same falling wedge channel that it had been in the previous cycle. It broke out when Bitcoin dominance dropped. This time, Bitcoin dominance didn't drop when we broke out of that channel. Bitcoin dominance actually continued going higher, and I believe that's because of the ETFs, the institutional adoption, the game theory, the U.S. strategic reserve, and guys like me and guys like you that are stacking Dogecoin. If we zoom in back in 2021, you can see briefly Dogecoin was below the 50-week moving average, just like it is over here right now. And also, prior to that, it had broke below the 200-week moving average over here. So, but if we look this time, we actually wicked down and found massive support at the 200-week moving average. If we turn on our fixed range volume profile, we can see that there's massive buying at this 6-cent region, at this 10-cent region, and Dogecoin just wicked down to the top of this volume range profile. Can you see that, guys? The top of this volume range. So there's not as much volume range in this area. So if we can hold support and break back above this 50-week moving average, I think it's very possible, especially since we've been in this ascending parallel channel all the way since February of 2025, only taking 28 days to get from the bottom of the channel to the top of this channel. It seems like Dogecoin could come all the way back up to 34 cents by November 10th. And that would put Dogecoin back above the 50-week moving average. And since we were able to basically test the 200-week moving average almost 3 times here, it just seems like we're about to go up, you guys. Like we're testing long-term moving averages here multiple times. And we're testing the fixed volume range profile. So, theoretically, we still could come down a little lower. Like, say, if the top were actually in, we could come down to the top of this volume range profile here. And say if the top was actually in November of last year, and we came down to the top of that, that'd be an 85% drop, which last cycle we went down 93%. So considering diminishing losses, that would be in line with a typical bear market. But, considering back in the last cycle, we went below the 200-week average, came back above it, tested this as resistance, this downtrend, came back and tested the 200-week moving average, and then we were gone. This time we're breaking out and just back testing our falling wedge multiple times and testing the 200-week moving average. We're just seeing a lot of confluence that there's support here. Yeah, I'd actually be really surprised to see if to see Dogecoin ever come back down to this 6-cent level. And I'd also be really surprised to ever see it come back down to this 9-cent level. With the amount of adoption we've had and just being able to see Dogecoin have higher highs in each one of its cycles, I feel like this was the low and we're going to be rocketing up to the moon from here. Coming with the altcoin season. Now, I do want to turn back on this Bitcoin dominance and just point out one thing about Bitcoin dominance, and that is when Bitcoin dominance peaked out back here in 2020, right before Doge went to the moon, that was, when was that? That was January, February of 2021. So what was Bitcoin doing January, February of 2021? It come up to this first peak right here. And that was 350 days past the halving. Now, 350 days past our last halving, we did see a peak right here, but Bitcoin dominance didn't peak out there. It kept going up. And now we've seen 546 days past the halving, and Bitcoin dominance is still up here at 59%. So it just really makes me wonder if we're even going to see an altcoin season at all. I have been taking profits every single month, almost every single week nowadays, just shaving off a little bit of my position just to build up a cash position and pay off debts and try to get in the good position just in case we are at the top of the market. But I don't really consider myself a bag holder, as some people might call me in the comments. I'm more of a long-term investor, and I do believe in the 7-year cycle theory, which says that Dogecoin is going to be in a downtrend against Bitcoin for 7 years, just like it was in its first 7 years of its history, and come up and be in this downtrend again since 2021. And we could come up and see a high in February corresponding with Bitcoin dominance dropping, and that would allow Dogecoin to come up and make a new high for the cycle. Boom, into the moon, baby. I really enjoy making these videos, you guys. It just really looks like we're about to go to the moon, man. So don't sleep on Dogecoin, you guys. If you already sold your bags, that means you're pretty bearish right now. So I feel bad for you because, yeah, we can't all sell the top. And if you sold your bags already, then you're definitely not selling the top. Anyways, thank you guys for coming back to the channel and checking out another video. I'm a little tired on this one, so it's not as coherent. I had a really busy day, but it's been a great day. Got me a haircut. It's pretty dope. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, smash the likes. Check out my playlist in the link below in the description. Leave all your thoughts, and we'll see you on the next video. Peace.